With it, here to talk about those liability issues surrounding summer camp is Ed Herman of Brown and Crouppen. Ed, how you doing?
I'm doing well, and you know I'm here not just in my capacity as a lawyer,
Yes,
but as a very nervous parent, as I am every year at this time. I've got a 9-year-old son, Brody, who's just started his camp program, and for the first time, my 2-year-old daughter Caroline is actually going to be going to a day camp.
Oh, so
yeah.
Dad's sweating a little bit.
I get nervous, and everybody I think should be a little bit. I don't want to say nervous, but you do have to take certain measures to minimize the chances of something bad happening.
Especially if your kids face challenges. I think of the kids with food allergies. I think of the kids who are asthmatic. These are things that the camp really, really needs to know about.
They do need to know about it, and again, from personal experience, my son has a peanut allergy. And most camps, I say most, they're aware of these things. They're all not exactly sure how to deal with it. How do you separate the kids at lunch? People bring their own lunches, and a lot of times they bring snacks, and how do you always know what the ingredients are? The most important thing is that the parent takes the time to fill out the health information and talk to the counselor, talk to the camp director, and let them get a good sense of what the extent of the allergies are, what they have to be mindful of, and make sure they have a stock of the medicine handy and permission to use the medicine if needed.
Because they have to cross their T's and dot their I's, too, just like you as a parent.
Can you imagine how nervous you would be if you had an EpiPen, a needle, some kind of device,
right,
and on your own judgment had to maybe put it into someone else's kid? I mean, you really want to know exactly what the circumstances are where it's appropriate to use it.
Which leads us to another very important point. The people at these camps have to be trained, and they have to take safety really seriously.
Well, and that's been true, I guess from the history of camps, but, what's changed is camps are much more exciting now. They do a lot more activities. It's not just a pool like when we were kids. Now it's water slides,
right,
and field trips every day, and way more opportunities to have fun, but also more opportunities that you have to be prepared for to keep them safe.
So let's just, I don't even want to think about it, but let's say something happens. There's some kind of incident that involves your child. What should you expect out of the camp?
Well, the first thing is, and I don't ever like to think in terms of litigation. I always like to think in terms of safety because, the goal here, we're talking about kids, this is about just giving them a good, positive experience. So it all starts with making sure there's a proper number of counselors supervising the children, making sure they've all been trained, making sure that the swim capabilities of every one of the campers in the group. And it's important for parents to be honest about that. I think parents are so used to wanting to speak positively about their kids that sometimes they hesitate to be as honest as they need to be about that skill level. But ultimately, it's all about doing reasonable care. It's about avoiding negligence. A camp is not automatically responsible for everything that happens to your child while they're there. And there has to be some act of negligence that causes somebody to be hurt in order for a legal liability issue to come up. And, I guess the only upside of lawsuits at all is that the fear of them probably prompts a lot of camps and other organizations to take those extra steps. You'd like to think that they would do it just to be safe, which maybe a lot of them do, but I think knowing that there's maybe the possibility of a litigation, I think takes them to a higher and necessary level.
And don't be afraid of that waiver if they ask you to sign it. If they're negligent, it's still
I mean, waivers will only take you so far. I mean, it's certainly not going to excuse a counselor who's paying absolutely no attention to what the kids are doing.
Of course not, Well, if you have a legal question for Brown and Crouppen, email us at greatday@kmov.com. We'll make sure they get it. Thank you, Ed. Very timely. Summer, we're getting ready to send the kids off. They're excited. We're the ones that are